You want to make a movie where a child's wife cheats on him? What? No, I want a kid to be accidentally...
Blake, what time of the year is it?
It's Christmas time.
It is Christmas time. And it's also pitch meeting time. So in the spirit of Christmas, we should revisit an old classic, a movie that I personally watch every single Christmas and its sequel, Home Alone.
It's like your favorite movie, isn't it?
I love Home Alone. Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, I will watch every single Christmas, bar none.
Yeah, him and Bruce Wayne, just the two greatest people with any time preparation to take on any threat thrown at them.
It took 8 seconds and we're already talking about Batman.
I actually did see the reason why I brought that up is because I saw on Instagram the other day, it was uber facts. The only two people that can take on any threat with enough prep time is, what's his name in this?
Kevin McAllister.
Yeah, Kevin McAllister and Bruce Wayne.
Have you seen the fact that the Saw movie franchise is a continuation of Home Alone where Jigsaw is Kevin McAllister all grown up?
Oh my god, that's brilliant!
How good is that? I absolutely love that idea. Where he just loves making these traps and everything, and he just became a sadistical, crazy person in the Saw franchise.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yes, it's pretty good. All right, let's get into this. Our boy Ryan George, we haven't watched one of these in about a week and a half, so we're well overdue.
Yeah, we are.
I was told you had a movie idea for me. Yes, sir, I do. See, last month my wife and my brother went on vacation together alone. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. No, what? Don't be sorry. They accidentally forgot me at home. Are you sure that's what happened? Well, yeah, of course. Why else would they not bring me on a vacation to Paris? All right, I mean, okay. And so, I got to be home all alone. That's great, buddy. It was great. I ate candy, I watched movies, I went grocery shopping all by myself. Okay, to be honest, I'm not getting what the movie idea is, and I'm getting a little sad. Right, so I was thinking, if I'm having such an amazing time, imagine if this happened to an 8-year-old kid. You want to make a movie where a child's wife cheats on him? What? No, I want a kid to be accidentally left at home while...
It's funny how, in my mind, I always thought that these pitch meetings, they always consistently looked exactly the same. You could tell this one's a few years old, though, and it's evolved slightly. It's still great, but it's evolved more than I had in my mind that it had evolved.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, we'll crack on.
His family goes on vacation. I guess my question is, how would that ever happen? Well, his family leaves on a vacation and they don't realize he's not with them. Yeah, but okay, it just seems like a really, 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 really improbable thing. Oh yeah, I'm well aware. Okay, so... Well, I was doing some research and there's this thing in storytelling called the suspension of disbelief. What's that? They say that the audience sacrifices realism and logic for the sake of enjoyment. Oh, so the audience will kind of just overlook unrealistic things? Right, so I think if we exploit that to an extreme level, we're good. Huh, interesting. So I think I figured out the perfect storm of unrealistic coincidence.
This is where it all started.
Yeah, for just cinema, filmmaking in Hollywood altogether, over the last decade, it's just declined because it was they'll believe it.
But I would say this is the golden age of it because they still made quality films where you could suspend your disbelief. But now it's just got into lazy writing and more or less these days you watch a movie where you're like, I don't believe any of this because I'm not entertained enough.
Yeah, that's true. It's the payoff, isn't it? You got to balance that scale.
Incidences to get this premise off the ground. All right, you got me. I'm listening. Okay, so first off, the kid has to be part of a huge family. It has to be big enough that you wonder if they've ever heard of birth control. Plus, some uncles and cousins can be there too. They also all have to be really mean to the kid so he can wish that they would disappear. Then they also have to accidentally throw his plane ticket in the trash. Then they also have to make him sleep in the attic so they don't see him when they're leaving. There also has to be a huge storm the night before the departure that knocks out the phone line so they can't contact him when they're gone. That storm also has to knock out the power. That way their alarms can shut off in the night and they wake up late for their flight. Also, the kid needs to sleep so heavily that he doesn't hear 15 people running around and yelling. There also has to be a random little kid that shows up at the exact moment they're doing a head count so they can get it wrong. Then we have to have nobody think of him even a little bit until they're mid-flight. So they really have to be an awful family. They have to be the worst family. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to them. When you break it down like that, there was a lot of implausible things. But for some reason, in the movie, that all happens in the first 12 to 15 minutes. But it just feels natural. It kind of, they somehow pull it together, that John Hughes charm in these movies that it just works.
Yeah, I've actually, do you know what's funny is the amount of times we're just talking about having seen this movie. I haven't seen it in a few years, and I really, really want to watch this movie again. I'm getting all very festive from just listening to the pitch.
Get around to it. It was on TV about 2 weeks ago, and I looked at like the calendar. I'm like, early December. No, thank you. This, if it's not in the 7-day lead up to Christmas, do not waste your time.
Also, then the kid has to wake up and think he's magic because he wished that they disappeared, and they did. Wouldn't he just make the connection that they were supposed to leave on a trip that morning? You'd think so, but if we have him not understand what an airport shuttle is, he can look at their cars and be like, there's no way they could have gotten to the airport without those. So he thinks he magically erased his family from existence. Right. So just to be clear, we need to have all those extremely unlikely scenarios play out one after the other just to get this kid alone at home by himself. That's right. And this suspension of disbelief. Right, with that, people will just be okay with all of that. Apparently, yeah, all of that. All of that. Yeah, pretty cool, right? Well, then awesome. So tell me more.
The producer guy is so much more normal in this than he is these days. Like, it is more newer videos. Everything is tight, and he's so over the top.
Yeah,
and I guess the writer guys are a lot dumber as well. They've evolved so much more into their archetypes, but it's interesting seeing a more normalized version. I'm totally glad they went in the direction they did. Like, he evolved it in the right way for sure.
Yeah, I'm just also watching this, just hoping that like this is kind of what's also happened with cinemas in this big studio execs as well. It's like, no, that idea sounds great. Like, that's good. Let's just check it in. Perfectly
fine. I'm curious if this predates Barely an Inconvenience, if it predates Tight. Wow. Like, I haven't heard any of them so far. We're halfway through, so I'm curious if those three have even been made yet. I always thought the Barely an Inconvenience one was like a staple from the very beginning, but time will tell. Let's check out the back end. But there are 3 on the bingo card that we're looking out for.
Yeah.
About this kid, Kevin McAllister. Well, you know how his family is the worst? Yeah, I imagine he's like the only nice one in the family. Oh no, he's also the worst. Oh, he is? Yeah, he calls his mom a dummy and he's really snarky with everyone. He's also unable to pack a suitcase, like it's the end of the world for him to do that. And how does he get over the trauma of the situation? The trauma? Well, I mean, in Kevin's mind, he's essentially just killed his family with a wish. I imagine that's gonna be hard for him to come to terms with. Actually, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Really? Well, I probably should have mentioned before that Kevin is psychopath. Oh yeah. We're talking complete disregard for the physical and emotional well-being of everyone he comes across in his life. And he talks to himself kind of a lot. So he's happy that they're dead. He's thrilled. He has a little eyebrow celebration thing, and then he does all the exact same stuff I did when I was home alone, except I didn't shave. Does anything else happen, or do we just watch a kid go crazy at home by himself? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's where things get really interesting. How's that? Well, it turns out that 2 burglars have their hearts set on breaking into the McAllister house. So why this house in particular? One of them mentioned something about it probably having some VCRs. VCRs are great, and they always will be. So these guys think that the house is empty because they've been casing the joint.
So VCRs are great, but they're not tight.
They're not tight.
They're not tight yet.
That was the same inflection though. He was, VCRs are great.
Yes, it felt like he's birthing the idea. It's just around the corner. It's not there just yet.
Oh no, but Kevin finds out that they want to break in. So he calls the cops? No. Well, eventually. Eventually, why not right away? Because of the psychopath thing. Oh, I don't get it. Well, the bandits break in, but Kevin is like some kind of genius. Like he set up a bunch of intricate death traps that they walk into one by one. But you said the kid was freaked out about packing a suitcase, like that was too much. Oh, right. And now he's like a death trap engineer? Yeah, no, that's a mistake. I'll change the suitcase thing. That doesn't make any sense. It's probably fine. You sure? It's no problem. I could change it to something that makes the whole death trap engineer make sense. Nah, keep the suitcase thing, it's all good. Okay, so he's too stupid to pack a suitcase, but he's great at traps. So what happens with the robbers? Well, they somehow survive a bunch of very, very fatal injuries. Wow. Yeah, and in the middle of the robbery, it seems like they forget that they wanted to rob the house, and now they just want to murder this child. It becomes about murder. It seems that way. Because at a certain point, Kevin just leaves them alone in the house, and they don't take anything. Just focused on the kid, no more VCRs. Yep, so at the end, they get arrested because they tried to break in and murder a child. It's very dark. And then overnight, he manages to clean up all the traps, including some stairs covered in tar. And then his family comes back the next day and immediately ignore him again. What do you think? Well, I think it might have some potential, but it's missing something, some kind of big selling point. Do you have anything in mind? Well, we could try the Christmas play. I mean, that rarely works, but what's that? That's when you make a movie take place at Christmas time, even if it has almost nothing to do with Christmas time. So people think, oh, this is a Christmas movie. I have to watch it. Exactly. Would that work if I just add in a couple of random Christmas elements? Well, it's certainly not going to be a Christmas classic, but it's worth a shot.
You're damn right, it's a Christmas classic.
Oh, I forgot how much pitch meetings can just spoil a movie and try and ruin it by just how literal it is. But then, like, that, for the ones that I really don't like, it makes me want to watch them more.
He does such a good job at breaking him down that you can look at a film from a completely different perspective.
Like, the entire time I'm watching that, I'm just thinking, this kid is absolutely growing up to be Saw.
It makes sense, doesn't it? It's a great foundation to build upon that idea.
It really is, and I kind of hope that they can explore that pathway. Like, I'm really excited for that movie now. It's not even on the cards.
Guys, thank you for recommending this one. That was a lot of fun. We're always going to keep doing pitch meetings. If there's any specific pitch meetings you want us to do, please leave it in the comment section below for us. And if you want to check out our other pitch meeting reactions, have a look at this playlist just up there for an ever-growing list. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.
And Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to us all.